Good afternoon, mech techs, mech warriors, and nobles in hiding. It's a new week. The toil remains, but so do we. Hello, everybody. How is everybody? My mouse appears to have vanished. There we go. I found it again. Hooray! Let's switch over to our chill tunes. Shazam. Just turn it down on my headset a little bit. Oop, too far. Turn it down too far. There we go. Hello, everybody. Hi. How are you all? How was your weekend? My wife was over this weekend, so my weekend was pretty nice. Got to hang out with my wife and one of our mutual friends and just chill out. We watched Iron Lung, Markiplier's movie. That was a lot of fun. I watched it in the cinema. I thought it was great. It was even better now that we could watch it on our home TV with subtitles on and everything. Yeah, that was really good. I highly recommend Iron Lung if you're into psychological horror and don't mind a lower budget. Switch over to IntelliJ. Pasha. There we go. And as you may have noticed, we now have a little disclaimer. That's just to make sure that everybody's aware that these are private streams. These are not being produced by the MegaMek team, though I am on the MegaMek team. These are my own personal private streams for private people like us. The youngster says, on the same vein, I saw the back rooms, also very good. I might have to check that out. I have been hearing good things through the grapevine, so you're definitely gonna have to check that out. And then I'm seeing my activity filter. Imperium24 and Leges0 both followed me whilst I was away for the weekend. I'm really glad you're enjoying the streams, and thank you for the follow. I don't know if you catch the development streams, and if you don't, you might not hear this, but I do appreciate you. Thank you. Radar651 says, weekend was pretty good. BattleTech game went better than I was expecting. Group is putting up a hell of a fight against the second Swords of Light, and they spend their Sunday playing Serious Sam with their brother and the fiance. I have not heard or thought about Serious Sam in an incredibly long time. Wow, Serious Sam, yeah, that was a really great game. I only played it briefly. I had a demo disc, if I remember correctly. Why IntelliJ? Why are you analyzing? I don't care about smart features. Bugger off. So yeah, no, that's I played Serious Sam on a demo disc. I remember didn't the original Xbox have a Serious Sam? Am I misremembering, or did they have a Serious Sam in 3D on the original Xbox? I can't quite remember. I think they did, and I think, if I remember correctly, they had some really fun DRM where if the game thought that you were cheating, it would spawn in an invincible enemy that would hunt you down. No, I was correct the first time. Hunt you down throughout the level. I think that was Serious Sam. But Serious Sam was... Yeah, no, I remember really enjoying that, but it's not something I've thought about a lot. And I think... two games along the same vein. I definitely preferred the original Dooms to Serious Sam. I was never really a fan of Doom 3. Like, graphically it was impressive, but gameplay-wise, I just didn't enjoy it. Radar confirmed that was Serious Sam 3, and that was the anti-piracy measure. Yeah, no, an invincible enemy that would chase you throughout the entire level. Yeah, I always preferred the original Doom games to Serious Sam, and it probably helped by the fact that I did actually own the original Doom games as opposed to Serious Sam, which, as I say, only had on demo disc, if that. And I wasn't a huge fan of Doom 3. I found it technically impressive, I just didn't enjoy the gameplay. And despite really enjoying the original two Doom games, I wasn't a fan of the newer ones. I didn't play Doom Eternal or Dark Age. I haven't played either of those yet, but I played the newest 3D Doom that isn't those two. I think it might be Doom 2016 or something like that. But I played that, and I don't know, it just didn't blow my skirt up. And I really enjoyed the original Dooms, and it wasn't just because I was a teenager at the time. Well, actually, I suppose when they came out, I was a bit younger than a teenager. It wasn't because I was a kid at the time. Because I can go back and play the original Dooms and still have a good time. I just wasn't a fan of the newer ones. Though I do understand lots of people are. I do understand they are very, very good games. Objectively, they are good games. I just don't enjoy them. Have I played any games this weekend? I haven't. I haven't played any games this weekend. So I haven't really done a lot. I watched Iron Lung. Me and my wife and our mutual friend, we went out to the Rainforest Cafe, the most romantic place on earth, and we had dinner. That was fun. They had someone going around giving kiddies inflatable like balloon animals, and I am so grumpy that they didn't come to our table because I wanted an inflatable balloon animal. I may be an adult, but I have needs too. And those needs are an inflatable balloon animal in my hand at all times. They're just inherently fun. Who said that adults can't have inflatable balloon animals at the Rainforest Cafe? That's just rude. But I had a good dinner. I'd like, say what you will about the Rainforest Cafe. It's not like high cuisine. It's not. It's the Rainforest Cafe. But their food's like better than it has any right to be. Like if you go to a themed restaurant, you're like, oh yeah, no, it's gonna be phoned in, especially when aimed at kids, ostensibly. But I've always found the Rainforest Cafe's food quality to be better than it has any right. It's not perfect, it's not great, but it's definitely better than you'd expect going to somewhere called the Rainforest Cafe. I was given the choice. I could go to the Rainforest Cafe or we could go for K Barbecue. And we're moving soon. And where we're moving to, where we're moving to does not have a Rainforest Cafe. So it was an easy choice. Where we're moving to has K Barbecue. Love me some Korean barbecue. Where we're moving from has a Rainforest Cafe. Ergo, we go to Rainforest Cafe now. And then when we move state to our new city, we can explore the Korean barbecue options, and then we can find the rice one. But other than that, that was my weekend. I did a little bit of minor tweaks Sunday evening after my wife went back to the other state that we're moving to, because my wife is working out of state right now. She's working where we're moving to, and I am stuck where we're moving from, which is sad. I miss my wife. I miss my wife tails. God, I hope everybody in chat knows that meme, because if not, that's gonna be real weird. But yeah, other than that, my weekend's been pretty good. We have a new emote. I should tell you about the new emote. If you have a look at the place in Twitch where emotes live, as requested, we now have the bandit emote. And I will say it doesn't quite work on if you're using the Twitch dark theme. It's kind of just like this black blob, because Bandit is a black blob. But I've spoken to my wife, and seeing as how Bandit is basically pulling the Clan Nova Cat face, we're going to see about updating the emotes to be a Clan Nova Cat, but with Bandit's mug. That should be quite fun. But what are we going to do today? Like, what are we going to do today? I don't know why I drew that out. What are we going to do today? I don't want to do it. I want to go home. Mom, I want the balloon animal. But yeah, what are we going to do today? We are going to do some minor tweaks to Edge. So anybody who's hovering around on the MegaMek Discord, and you should, because MegaMek Discord's lots of fun. But anybody who's hovering around there will know that we're updating Edge a little bit, and I'm trying to slip that into version 51. And basically, if you've read my announcement, you're going to know all this already. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. But basically, I'm saying basically a lot today. But essentially, see? A synonym of basically. I'm smart. Essentially, we are nerfing Edge. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. Edge is probably one of the single most powerful upgrades you can give to your character. The ability to essentially ignore any negative consequences is insanely huge. And like I have opened up your campaigns. I know what stuff you guys do. I know some of you had, before we capped it, had over 10 Edge on a single character. I am aware of the obscenities some of you commit when it comes to making your special character special. But no one, I think, can deny that Edge is the single most powerful thing. Because a 0-0 pilot is not immune to a round 1 cockpit crit that kills them instantly. And 0-0 pilot with 10 Edge effectively is. And so we're nerfing Edge. How Edge currently works is on Monday, any spent Edge is refreshed, so everybody gets back to their full amount of Edge on Monday. We're changing that optionally. Optionally, it's an option. I have to emphasize that because people get grumpy at me. We are optionally changing that to monthly, yearly, or never. Now, these are the campaign options. You can change the scale. You can have it refresh daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, or never. But we also want to have the ability for players to instantly refresh Edge. So if you know you're going into a tough fight and you're like, oh crap, I really need all of my Edge points for this upcoming scenario, you can spend a bit of XP. You can spend a bit of XP and instantly get your Edge back. I like this because A, it's based on a time of war, and B, having an XP tax will inherently slow down progression, and I think that's a good thing. We're always looking for ways to slow down progression. And if I made it an automatic tax, people will get grumpy at me. So I have to have it in a way so that players will automatically get their Edge back, but this is an optional thing they can optionally do to give them a bit of an edge in an upcoming battle if they want to. Radar says, I kind of wish my group had started with following more of the Edge and SPA rules when we started our campaign. Instead, we homebrewed either you do something extremely amazing during combat or you sacrifice salvage points to universal Edge or SPA points. Yeah, I honestly, if I could get away with removing Edge from the game, I would. I don't believe Edge creates a good game health. I understand the need for Edge. If it was up to me, it would not exist in the game. Something else that, if it was up to me, would not exist in the game is tactics influencing initiative rolls. You guys may have heard me rant about this before, but very, very briefly. Basically, if you spend 30 XP to get one rank in tactics, that character now has the same initiative bonus that multi-ton equipment has. If you spend 50 XP total on every character, which is a lot of XP to be fair, but if you spend on every character, you never need to think about using initiative modifying equipment in your units ever again, because inherently that 50 XP makes you better than any initiative giving equipment in the game, and it has no cap. You spend an obscene amount of XP, give that character plus 10 ranks in tactics, suddenly they have a plus 10 on initiative rolls. They are never failing an initiative roll. And players also don't like it when Princess plays fair for this rule. We gave the tactics bonus to Princess. We immediately got complaints because players didn't want the playing ground to be fair. They just wanted to win initiative all the time. And I don't think personally, and notice how I haven't removed it because I understand that this is a personal belief and not something I can enforce. It wouldn't be fair to. But I personally think that the tactics influencing initiative is a bad rule. I do not think it is good for the game. It invalidates far too much equipment and inherently makes mechs or units that have initiative granting equipment like Command Console worse, because that is wasted tonnage. Radar says initiative bonus equipment is better balancing than a tactics skill. Agreed. Pink Billy says the idea kind of makes sense. No, I get why it makes sense, but I also believe that tactics, the skill, with all the extra stuff it does in MekHQ, is already powerful enough. It doesn't need to be an I win button. But that's enough of my personal rants. Like I say, I'm trying to be better nowadays than I was previously about accepting that my views on how the game is going to be improved do not necessarily match with what other people's views are on their personal games. So I've always been big about making campaign options, but nowadays I'm just trying to be a little bit less dictating how people play their games and more gently nudging people in a direction I think will give them a better experience, which is what we're doing today. So let's create a branch. We're going to go ahead and add the ability to manually refresh Edge at a small XP cost. So Edge refresh Costeruni. And for this, we need to start off with campaign options. So I don't need any of this. Let's go to campaign options. Da 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 la da da. Here we go. It did not take me to campaign options. That's not helpful, game. Come on, take me to campaign options. Oh, it's taking me to the folder. Okay, so we're already in the right place because I've been working here already. So we are going to need to add a couple of values. First, we're going to need a Boolean. This can probably live underneath support edge. Allow XP edge refresh. XP is not an abbreviation. XX. And we're also going to want an integer, but we're going to come and do that later. We're going to want to have a cost for the integer. So let's allow XP edge refresh. It's just a simple Boolean. And if enabled, you can pay money to refresh edge. Do we need this actually? Because there's an argument for just enabling it by default, and if the player doesn't want to use it, they just don't use it. Yeah, let's just do that. In which case, we need to travel over to edge cost. Where art val? There we go. And edge refresh cost. Okay, the default value here is going to be 20 XP. I personally think 20 XP is too high. However, 20 XP is what a time of war says. So we're going to go with 20 XP for default. However, in the presets, we're probably going to change it. Okay, so that's that done. We now need to set up the marshalling and unmarshalling. I'm just reading something. Okay, that seems fine. I will confess, and I hope you don't mind me bringing this up. I am a little depresso today. Being away from my wife for so long it's a weight around my neck. I recognise that we're going to be going moving soon, so it's not a forever thing. But I do miss my wife. There we go. Okay, so that's marshalling and unmarshalling. We're now going to handle the actual UI part of things. So we're clicking on edge cost because we know what we're wanting to do already exists in edge cost. So for that, we can just go over here. Okay. However, this is going to be slightly different because this is yeah, we need to slightly. Why is attribute cost and SPN not being used? Did we just not hook these up? Says it's being used, but it's only being used in 2 places. Something smells. Something smells about this. We're going to investigate this. Here we are. So we added this, but we never actually added it to the UI. Whoopsie doodles. So the ability to change the cost of attributes was never actually hooked up, so players were never going to be able to use it. So we're going to go ahead and classify this as a new option. It's strictly not new, but we're going to classify it as a new option because 2 players it's going to be new. And let's just make sure we've got this hooked up elsewhere as well. Because if we've made mistakes in one place, chances are we've made it in others. So Hammer's swinging by to say hi and see what we're working on. Hi, Hammer. We are adding some minor changes to... yeah, it's okay. So we've never actually... What seems to have happened, we've added this option and never continued. We're adding some changes to Edge to make it a little bit more interesting for the player base. Okay, yeah, we have basically hooked up attribute changes in this, but we never actually hooked it up. So none of the options are applying, nothing is doing anything. So we're going to go ahead and fix that. Whoopsie doodles. I'm not going to read out what the radar just said, but yes, we're doing some changes to Edge. These are personally, I think these are going to be positive changes, but I'm making sure to listen to player feedback. This is something. Oh yeah, I just spotted a mistake there. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a while, but the player base has been generally against it. But it really needs to be done. Okay, so that's now all correctly hooked up. Hurrah! We'll have to log that bug later. Okay, so next up. I'm just looking through here. Because if you're wondering why I'm a little bit more hesitant than I normally am with campaign options, some of the changes here are related to skill options, not campaign options. There's a difference. I'm not going to go into the difference, but it is. Hammer says that Edge is the unofficial MegaMek cheat code. It is. It is. Give your characters 10 Edge, you're invincible. Okay, let's call this Edge. Okay, no, we're not going to put this here. We are going to push these fixes. And we're going to come back to this. I am going to change things ever so slightly. Just checking this is all good. Yep. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and create a new branch. We're going to save this one. So this button here just stays it as a favorite, so I'm not going to lose it. And we're going to create a new branch. I'm going to call this attribute cost fix. My money is on. I got halfway through implementing that and then just got distracted. We don't need to do player facing. The UI is inherently player facing. There we go. But something that I've also found, now I am going to start by saying I am not infallible. As illustrated by the fact that we just found this rather large bug, I am not infallible. But I have found that what are we doing here? That's not what we want. I have found that sometimes I can feel very vindicated where something I've been saying for a while and keep getting told that I'm wrong turns out to be correct. How advanced scouting was initially received is a good example of that. People absolutely freaking hated advanced scouting when it was released originally. Nowadays, people seem to enjoy it. And advanced scouting isn't perfect, it's not. But I think what it does to the game is an improvement, and now people have gotten used to it. And I think people have come to see things my way. Oh, I'm in the wrong screen. Let me go to Subaru. There we go. So we're going to mark this as a Buggeroony. Because it completely blocks off the option, it's going to be marked as high, and campaign options. There we go. Radar says people are resistant to change because it's new and stranger than know it, while Youngster adds that a lot of time people don't like to give up crutches, but when they do, find a game a lot more satisfying. This is the thing. Players do not like to feel like they're losing power. And I can understand it. No one wants to have to struggle up a hill when last week all they needed to do was just roll out of bed. But that doesn't mean the hill isn't important. I'm a big proponent of adding hills. Meaningful hills. You don't want to make the game difficult just for the sake of being difficult. But if you can add stuff that meaningfully changes the experience in a way that, as I say, is meaningful, which I believe that Advanced Scouting did. And how did it change it in a meaningful way? It meant that there was commit failed of error. Let's investigate. Just gonna go over here and just double check this. Just making sure this is all good. No, this is all good. I don't know quite sure what IntelliJ is talking about, but everything appears to be good. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, how did Advanced Scouting change experience in a meaningful way? It meant that you now needed to think about specializing your personnel. Getting an effective scout unit wasn't just a case of right-clicking on the force and tow and saying this is a scouting unit or whatever. Now, to effectively scout, you need to take into consideration things like, what are the scouting skills? Are they actually any good at scouting? What units are you using? Are you using a Steiner Scout Lance? You're probably not going to have as good time as someone who's just using a bunch of VTOLs. Okay, so we're actually going to add this option in the same place as briefing tab. No. Where are we living? Personal tab, here we are. The young says, I really like changes that might take away power in a way that encourages you to use more tools that were already available here. Now, it is important. You do have to be careful because, like I say, just because something is difficult does not mean it is a good change. Something that just makes the experience more difficult just inconveniences the player generally is not a good change in and of itself. It's not it's not good enough to just add difficulty. You have to add meaningful difficulty. So we'll use what we're doing here. The adding of we're reducing the speed in which SPAs refresh. That is just adding difficulty. Now, I would argue that is meaningful difficulty just because of how everything interacts. It adds meaningful changes into how players interact with combat. When they know they're not invincible anymore, they play differently. However, these changes become more meaningful when we... sorry, bear with me, I'm trying to focus at the same time. When we add the ability to manually pay extra XP to refresh your edge as an option. Because now we don't just have, oh, you're out of edge for this week or this month. We're now adding the point of, well, if you want, you can spend a little bit of extra XP. It's going to pick up some of your XP, but it's going to instantly give you that power back. And it becomes a meaningful choice. Oh, can I afford to spend this XP? 20 XP is a lot of XP. Can I afford to spend this XP, or can I afford to go into the fight without the edge that I desperately need for this really hard fight? Radar comments that meaningful difficulty is a challenge, and why they don't like certain mods that just add difficulty. Yes, yeah, you have to be really, really careful when you're adding difficulty. Just making a game harder does not make the game more fun. Dark Souls and Elden Ring and all the others aren't fun because they're hard. They're fun because their difficulty is meaningful. So I need that for that. I am doing the wrong thing here. Label, edge, refresh. I'm getting so intensely involved in this conversation, I'm forgetting what I'm doing. Let me jump back to the top, because there we go, that's what I'm looking for. I'm just clicking the wrong thing. Sorry gang, my brain is frazzling. Label, what do we call it? It's definitely not to use support edge. I'll call it edge refresh. Refresh cost. I do wish I could just, and I probably can just disable AI in this, because not that I'm inherently against AI, it can be useful, but simply because the only time I use it in IntelliJ is when I accidentally click on it, and it's really annoying. There we go. Now we just need to add the, that'd be easier for me to just go for another spinner. There we go, just copy this across. Now we need to make sure we update the header, otherwise it tries putting it in the wrong place and it just breaks. So default value is going to be 20, because that's what ATO says. The minimum, we're going to set it a minimum of, we can set it to 0, that's fine. And we're going to maximum 100 seems reasonable. Like if you really want to be awful, you can have refreshing your edge manually cost 100. I don't think that's a good idea, but like that's fine. It's not going to hurt anything. I'm just checking everything. There's a lot of copy pasting here, and I just want to make sure that I am in fact doing everything that it should be. That's wrong. That should be good. Just verifying that is set up correctly. It looks good to me. Oh, here we know it gets value. This is where we have to typecast, because we have to tell the IDE, or the compiler actually, what type of value this is. There we go. Now the last thing we need to do is we need to add up the actual values, which is we can do here. Edge refresh cost. Let's go to support edge. Oh, it is warm. It is toasty roast today. We had a storm come through and the air is very warm. I'm still on the wrong screen. I am so sorry, everybody. There we go. I've not been doing anything you haven't done already, seen a million times. I'm just adding campaign options. Okay, that should all be good. So that adds the campaign option. So that's always our first step. Our next step is then going to be to hook it up into the actual code. I am going to step away from the computer very, very briefly, and then we'll come back and do that. And I'm back. Had to go and close Bandit's window. Bandit has a particular window in the bathroom he likes to hang out in, but because it's so humid outside, it's just making the entire apartment boiling hot. So he's very upset at me right now because I closed his window. Interesting that I'm getting errors saying that it's not checking out properly, because it definitely looks like it's working to me. I think it might just be a GitHub error. It's perhaps throwing back the wrong thing. Okay, so we're going to now boot up MekHQ. I want to see where the best place is going to be to add this. MekHQ had stage files, so I wasn't able to hook it up before start of stream. So once this runs, I'll need to take you all to the void. It's okay, we can hold hands in the void. Nobody can see, nobody knows. Waiting for MekHQ to load. There it goes. Okay, into the void. Whee! Just remind OBS which monitor to find MekHQ on. There it goes. There we are. Okay. So next up, let's go ahead and we're just going to go and jump into a new campaign. It doesn't really matter because we're just going to have a look at the right-click menu, the context menu for personnel in the personnel tab. So, campaign options don't really matter. I'm just turning it on to veteran by default. There we go. Oh, this is a new feature, by the way. This was requested by someone on the MekHQ Discord. Basically, they wanted the ability as a mercenary or a pirate to not always start in a random system. So now you get the choice. You could start on the mercenary capital, which at this point in the setting is Galatea, or Galatee, however you pronounce it. I don't think anybody's really consistent on that front. Or you can use the original setting, which is just a random starting location. which can still be Galatea. In fact, it is weighted towards the mercenary capital. Oh, we're on Erod's Escape. Where the hell's that? Oh, we're all the way over in the Kaldaran Protectorate. That's an interesting start. Okay, let's go to Company Generator. Get ourselves some people. I usually call them dudes, but I really should get out of the habit of calling people dudes and guy. It's not very polite. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Yada, yada, don't care. Okay, this is what we do care about. So, spend XP is going to be the most logical place for it. Yeah, we can do this. Okay, so I want to go to spend XP. Spend XP and then go capitalize. There it is. This is batch XP. This isn't what we're looking for. There we are. This is more like it. You can't see me in IntelliJ because I haven't forgot to switch over. I'm just quickly setting stuff up because I'm bouncing back and forth. Increase attribute scores. I think we can actually go back to IntelliJ now. I think I've got everything I need. So spend XP is precisely where we want to be. Searching for usage. It's taking its time. We used to get free copies of IntelliJ from JetBrains, but they have decided that we're no longer open source enough to be considered open source. Well, no, that's being facetious. Basically, they decided that they don't want to do that anymore. So we'll just do this the old-fashioned way. So we're all going to have to start paying for our licenses, which isn't a huge problem. It's just mildly annoying, and right now I think this whole ID is in the interregnum period of considering itself free but not being free, and it's just slightly annoying. Okay, this is all good. But what I'm looking for... Okay, so here's a spend, and this is... Okay, if we're using abilities, we're adding all this stuff. Submenu. Here we are. Menu, and then we're adding submenu. We don't care about that. Go away. Shazam. And then we're adding the current menu, which is added on. The new skills menu. Okay, let us, rather than going down, let's go ahead and add a J menu item. I'm going to call this replenish edge. Get text. There we go. Shazam. Okay, we actually need to make this formatted text because we're adding in the value. The replenish edge cost is do we have get campaign options? That'd be nice. It looks like we do. Get campaign options, and then we want edge. Refresh. Can't give it to me. Get edge refresh. There we go. This is a really large class, so my computer's struggling a little bit. And we do this so that it will show the correct value. So it's going to show exactly how much edge it will cost. Now we need to actually add an action listener, I believe we would want to do. I just need to find a good example. Here we go. Oh, we're going to need get a command. Okay. This whole dialogue is very, very old, and as a result is a tad crusty. This will be fine. And that's the cost we're referring to. There we go. Okay, we're going to need to do the command, which will be replenish edge. There won't be a type name. This is going to be a pain in the ass. This always is. So now we need to scrumble all the way to the top. And where is command improve? Improve, here we go. So the easiest way to do this is just test. There is so much boilerplate in this whole dialogue. So this whole multi-thousand line class is just handling what happens if you right click on a character in the personnel tab. Base cost, give me the cost. I think this is correct. We're going to have to double check this in a bit. So I think this is going to be skill cost. We actually don't need to pass in cost because we can do this. Yes, this is good. This is good. We're not worried about base cost. We're just going to go with cost. How is this working? The youngsters, I was perusing the Hangar tab version of this for the mothballing and the slight fix I did last night, which was a good fix, by the way. Good addition, and it's very overwhelming. Yeah, it's a very, very, very old bit of code, and it's a bit of a mess. We can do this. So what we're going to do, we're going to break out this. I'm just checking. Yes. Oh, for God's sake. I don't know what IntelliJ is doing today, but it's having a really freaking hard time, and it's very annoying. Just give me a method. Why it's constantly analyzing the project, I don't know. Piss off. So we're going to break this out into its own method, because then we can call this method talent-based XP cost multiplier. And we're going to go ahead and nullify this. So we're going to allow us to pass in a null skill name. And this is for values for times where we are just wanting fast and slow learner, as well as the reasoning cost multiplier. So long as this doesn't equal null. There we go. So with that, we can now go back here and do this. And this is going to give us our cost multiplier, which is what we want. put this talent multiplier. It's going to say it's not public, but it is now. And I don't like breaking this across multiple lines. We're going to have to, but we can do it like this, and it just looks a little bit cleaner. Then we're going to need to know what is the base cost. Base cost equals get Camperoonies. And we want edge refresh. Is it going to give it to me? Are you going to be kind to me? No, you're bloody not. Get edge refresh. There we go. And then we're going to want actual cost. It's simply going to be base cost multiplied by talent-based XP modifier. And we are going to round it. We then need to cast it into an int, because it's when you round it, it's going to be a long, and we just want an int. And we're not spending XP on skills, so we really don't need to care about... So the reason why you have these spend XP on skills is that's specifically for skills, as you might guess, so that if they become a veteran, they can get their veterancy awards. So we're going to spend XP. There we go. We're going to add a report in a minute. But all we need to do here is... Does spend XP return anything? It doesn't. Neato. And we've already checked that they have enough XP before they can use this. But let's just verify. Current XP equals selected personage, get XP. And we're going to do some more edits to this in a second. If current XP is less than actual cost, we're just going to skip them. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and do this whole shebang. Now, we're going to make it so that multiple people can be selected as once. Now, is it people? It is people. Okay, so we need to change selected person to person. Otherwise, it's going to use. It's just not going to use the right thing. Reset edge. Reset current edge. There we go. Okay, so that's basically doing everything we want. The next thing you need to do is do the announcement. Refresh edge. Let's take success. We can reword this better. Failure. There we go. So that's going to give us our two values for reporting. So first things first, we don't need half of this crap. We can actually go get formatted text, and that is going to give us exactly what we want. We get the hyperlinked name, and we want actual cost. And we can just duplicate this. Oh, I didn't mean to delete it. Whoops-a-doodles. There we go. So if we fail to refresh the edge, we're just going to throw up an error message saying, hey, we just failed to do it. They didn't have enough XP. If we pass, we're just going to post the report. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. However, we now need to go back to replenish edge, and we need to do some changes. Okay, because this is one selected. We're going to leave it as this. So technically, you can now have this if you have multiple people selected, but no. This is bad. This is just a bad implementation. So we're gonna do something a little bit different, because I do not like this. This is not, in my opinion, a good implementation. So we're gonna break that out. And rather than, that's all good. We no longer need this because we just need who we're selecting. And I am going to make sure that we're doing this correctly. This all looks good. Okay. We are going to double check this in a second, but what we're doing here is we're breaking the spend XP tab out so that you can have it present if you're selecting multiple people. Because yeah, we're not faffing about here. We're not going to block people. And it's going to be enabled if use edge or use support edge is enabled. And I suspect this is going to be a is use and a is use. So this option is going to be available if either of the edge options are enabled. So basically, if you're using edge, you're going to have access to this option. We do now need to go into MekHQ and just make sure it's all working. While we're waiting for MekHQ to log, I'm just going to quickly check my messages because I noticed I've got a lot of pings and I want to make sure it's not anything serious. Okay, MekHQ is up. So we're now just going to go and we're going to just launch a test, and we're just going to make sure MekHQ is not quite up. MekHQ has been a bit chunky trying to go up. I think my computer's just struggling. Okay, let's do the quick start. No, new campaign. Because we're just going to add a couple of people, and then we're going to edit their edge. We're going to spend some of their edge. And then we're going to try and tweak things a little bit. Man, it is so warm. Now, I say it's so warm. I have been on the edge. We're talking about edge. I've been on the edge of having a cold, maybe a flu, for like the past few days. It started coming on the end of last week. So it is entirely possible that it is not, in fact, ridiculously warm. I'm just ill. Ugh. But there's no rest for the wicked, and I am certainly wicked. Go away. Don't care. So I'm just going to add a couple of people. And I don't know if we have the ability to manually adjust current edge. I'd like to think we do, and if we don't, we can do that. We can fix it up. Just wait for everything to load. By the way, youngster, youngster's been doing some contributions to MegaMek, and I have to say that they've been doing a really good job. Let's go into GM mode. We're just going to add a couple of bodies. Aerospace pilots, whatever. Not important. Don't need their children too. Shoo. All right, how much edge do they have? They have 0 edge, it looks like. Yes, indeedy. So let's go ahead and set their edge to something that isn't 0. I'm going to GM mode, roleplay. skills and XP. So attribute score. That's at edge. We're going to set edge to 1. Okay, and edge is currently 0 out of 1. So let's go ahead and advanced day. Go away. Okay, and we're now going to attempt to replenish the edge. Now, this is going to fail, I hope. So, anybody see spend XP? Because I certainly don't. So that's our first problem. So we're gonna have to come out of here, go back into MekHQ, because we can't currently spend XP, which is kind of an important thing to do, really. There it is. What we are not adding is this. Now this... Why... Are we adding it down here instead? Yes. No. That's adding it. Reputation. Actually, I know what I can do. Let us just... Show me where you're being used. Oh my. So I think this is what we're looking for. I suspect, at least. Gotta jump back to where we were a second ago. Come on, where are you? Spend XP. We know you're in here somewhere. Remove spouse. We don't want to remove our spouse. Maybe we'll just jump to spend XP. Come on. There it is. So I'm just going to have a look at what edits we're making just to make sure I've not just removed it and then something completely different. Which is exactly what we've done. So... Why, oh, why do we have so many reuses of the same goddamn grumbly grr? Okay, let's see if this works at least. The youngster says, well, thank you very much. It's been a long road to get to the point where I can contribute and I'm really happy to give back. Yeah, no, the thing is, like, when it comes to programming, like, you don't want to jump in with the really big tasks. Just jump into little stuff. Feel the code base out, get to learn it. And if you've been watching for a while and haven't already, please consider hitting the follow button so you can get notified of when we go live. And when do we go live? Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, daytime. And then Friday evening, we've got our ongoing MekHQ campaign. Very much fun. Speaking of MekHQ, let's go back here. Yeah, I definitely think I've been saying this for days now. When I get ill, it tends to take... Oh, so this is a bug that only affects if you're trying to load up MekHQ from within the IDs. Because if I just go here to the actual save, it's going to load fine. But yeah, when I get ill, it tends to take me a long time to actually get ill. And so I just feel miserable for like a whole week. And the amount of water that I'm drinking definitely makes me think I am getting ill. Okay, single person. Spend XP. Good, we don't see it twice. Also good. Multiple persons. Spend XP. Good. Can't see anything. Bad. But a good start. Okay, so we can now see the option. That's progress for you. But now we need to go in and actually figure out why. I see. This is actually very easy. So there we go. And this is going to cause it to get added. And we're just going to go set visible. So this is only going to be visible. You can only access it if you have Edge enabled. No, let's go for set enabled. The reason we're going to go for that is so that people aren't given an empty menu if they have more to be selected and they don't have Edge enabled. Oh. Waiting for MekHQ boot, doop-a-doop, doop-a-doot. There we go, MekHQ is back, so let's see if our changes are changing correctly. Because they're definitely changing, but are they changing correctly? That's what we're going to find out. We also had someone request the ability to manually add a cap on edge points. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Okay, so we have 2 aerospace pilots. If I select one, we can replenish or spend edge points. We need to get rid of this 20 XP thing though. No, 20 XP is fine. We just need to change it a little bit. So I click on that. And it's not doing anything. Okay, little by little, we're getting somewhere, just nowhere good. Okay, replenish all edge. Modify by talent. Okay, that's good, but let's go back here. So we should be doing some actionless command. It is a menu item that we're adding. No, we're adding a menu item. There we go. That pesky little typo there may be the root cause. By the way, whenever people ask, hey, can we give multiple people SPA at the same time, this is the dialogue that handles that, and this dialogue is the reason why we can't. If I go down to abilities, here we go. What I am about to show you is just the code to determine whether a character can take a particular SPA. So all this code that I'm selecting right now, everything you're seeing on my screen, this is all determining whether a character can purchase an SPA. We haven't stopped yet. All of that, about 1,000 lines, and that's not all of it. Because some of these have extra, like for example, is improvement legal, have extra stuff. It is incredibly lengthy. Oh no, I'm not even looking at the right one. I'm looking at... Why is that abilities? Is that correct? Oh no, I minimized it. Oopsie doodles. This is all the code for determining abilities. And notice how we have extra stuff here. So this isn't all of it. This is just the start of it. We then have all the code for add SPA to menu, already purchased, never added SPA to menu. Then we have the additional stuff on top that determines whether it's even available. There's just so much code, and it is a pain in the bottom. MekHQ has loaded up. So let's go back into our edit. I definitely agree that it is a pain in the ass that you can't buy an SPA on multiple people at once. That might be something we look at today, actually. Because if we can do that, that could be good. Okay, so we're going to go down to spend XP. We're going to replenish your wedge, and it's going to fail. Okay, not quite, but we're getting there. As you can see, we've got the placeholders. It hasn't replaced them. I suspect because we're dumb. So let's find out how dumb we are. Actually, we know this isn't going to work, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and give Sakmi the XP she needs. And now we're going to go try and spend XP. Okay, and we're going to go back to Sakmi, and I want to see, is there a way? Okay, here's what we can do. If we do a skill check and give her a skill that she hasn't got already, and if we roll with use edge, it's going to use up her edge point. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to go through. We're just going to spend XP, replenish edge again. There we go. Okay, so that's all working. We just need to fix the reporting, and there's some other things I want to do. So we're getting there, but we can still make this better. So what we are going to do is we're going to change it so it's different depending on whether one person is selected or multiple people. So if one person is selected, we're going to do this. Then if it's not, we're going to do this. And what we're going to do with one person selected, we're going to go here and single, multiple. Okay, and if one person is selected, we're just going to do single and we need to do that down here, actually. Selected person, get reasoning. Should be. So we use, this is the method we used earlier. Actually, we can just fetch it from here. Get talent based. There we go. So it's called person at this point. And we need to have this up here. And skill name is null. Okay. And this is, as you saw us before, we're just going to go ahead and int round and then multiply it by talent. Radar saying they had pizza for lunch. I am jealous. Okay. So talent multiplier, we're doing that there. Replenish cost is going to be that. Replenish is the text. I'm going to set enabled. Going to add another final boolean here. Is use edge. So what we can do down here is we'll enable it if they can use edge, and if person get XP is equal or greater than replenish edge cost. So I'm just reviewing all this. This is good. Now, if multiple are selected, we're going to do something different. First of all, we're just going to ignore the edge cost. We're just going to use the base edge cost here. And we're only going to check if edge is enabled. Now, this is all incredibly gross. So we are going to break this out into its own method. Add edge refresh option. Tira says, I'm back from making some dinner. Is this the edge replenishment rework? Yes. Yeah, no, we've already done the periodic refresh. What we're doing now is adding the ability to manually spending XP to immediately refresh. Now there is another thing we can check here. So right now we're checking if edge is enabled, if their XP is equal or greater than the amount required, but we're also going to do one last check. We're going to go person get current edge, and it needs to be less than person get total edge. Oh, we can just do get edge used. That's even easier. So here we are. This is 3 checks. The first, are we even using edge? Then we're going to test, does the person have enough XP? And finally, we're going to test, has this person actually used any of their XP? If all of those are true, then they can replenish their XP. If multiple people are tested, we're going to do this check later. So if multiple people are selected, we're just going to show this value. And we can come back to here. So replenish your edge. This is working. We know this is working. However, the reporting wasn't. That's okay. We're going to go back in there in a second. So now we're going to go back here, and we're going to go and jump down to this cage. So here is, this is a mistake I always do, by the way. If you close here, under the formatted test, you're actually closing it early. You need to do the close down here instead. 9 times out of 10, if you see key values, like curly bracket 0, 1 in your text, it's because I've accidentally done this. Radar says, you know, I wish I could place destroyed units in the MegaMek map editor as either fluff or like the legs and arms you can place. That could be interesting. Afternoon, Weissman. Glad you could join us. Okay, so I am just reviewing. Okay, first we're fetching how much does it cost for them to improve. Okay, that's good. Then we are testing that their current XP is not less than the actual cost. If it is, we're going to reject it. But we're also going to do one other check, because we don't even need to verify how much it's going to cost if they haven't actually spent anything. So person get used edge. Come on, give it to me. Does it get spent edge? Spent. Just give me edge. Edge used. Okay. If edge used is great, if edge used is equal or less than 0 for some reason, we are going to, we're going to add this, and we're going to add a new, and this is going to be none. So Let's go if we haven't used any edge. There we go. It's all good. And in such a case, we just need the hyperlink name. Okay. So if they haven't used any edge, we're going to early exit. If they have used edge, but they don't have enough XP, we're going to early exit again, and this time tell them off because they don't have enough XP. If they have enough XP, they're going to spend that XP, they're going to reset their current edge, and then we're going to report it. And that is good, but what we are going to do is even better. We are going to break this out. So, replenish edge action. Rename. Spell it correctly. However, I'm noticing we're using person and selected person. We definitely don't want to be passing selected person in there. We need people. So, let's find out where are we still using selected person. There she blows. Okay. Because selected person's only used for instances when there's only a single person. And we're definitely using more than one person here. So I'm just going to go ahead and verify that this is the correct way to do it, because it's been a long time, and I just want to quickly scroll down, and yeah, that's all good. Okay, perfect. So our final test is going to be going back into MekHQ, and we are going to attempt to refresh Edge on everybody, and just make sure it works. Now there's one final thing, a stretch goal if you will. Once this is all working, we're going to add another campaign option. And this campaign option is going to be done. That will mean that if you use the replenish edge and you have this campaign option enabled, it will only replenish one edge, not all edge. And once, we're probably going to add two campaign options, one for regular periodic refreshing and one for this that we're working on. But let's just make sure it all works first. So first of all, we're going to go ahead and attempt to spend XP to replenish your edge. It's going to tell us off. It's going to tell us we can't because we haven't got enough XP. There it is. The couldn't is missing an apostrophe. Let's quickly add that back in. So we're going to switch over to here. And where is my GUP properties? We just need to escape the apostrophe. Okay, there's more things we can do here, but for now we're just going to keep it basic. So back into MekHQ. So our next thing is we're now going to give them XP. Add XP, we're going to give them... no, actually I want to test something first, then we're going to give them XP. So, if I go down and spend XP, it's disabled because we can't. However, this should be showing a different one. I might have just forget to tweak that. So let's go back to IntelliJ. Did I forget to tweak that? Looks like I may have done. Yeah, no, here we go. This is what I did wrong. So we're just going to go ahead and swap these around because they are switched around. So we're just going to go ahead and do this. And now that will show the correct values. So back into MekHQ. Okay, so it looks like it's disabling correctly, but it's just not showing the correct value. So we're going to fix that. Next things we're going to do, we're going to give them 40 XP. Shazam. Now refreshing is only going to cost 20 XP. We're going to give them 4 XP though, and we're going to replenish all edge. So their edge should now be replenished. It is not. Why is it not? Let's look. They haven't used any edge, it says. They clearly have. So something's not right. So now we're going to have to go back to MekHQ and figure out what's wrong. So back into IntelliJ, I should say. So if get used edge is not returning the right value, we are going to be in trouble. And chances are we're in trouble elsewhere. So we're going to replenish. Let's see here. Get edge used. Edge, aha. Okay, we are going to rename this to get edge used this round. And we're going to rename this as well. Set edge used this round. Squizzle me. Is there a particular reason why you're not renaming that, IntelliJ? Okay, we are going to do one better. We are actually going to restart IntelliJ. So, because IntelliJ it's not working very well today. I don't know what the issue is, but it's clearly having a trouble. So I'm just going to quit IntelliJ. So we're going into the void. I do apologize into the void with us, but we are now going to reopen IntelliJ. It's been a while since I've turned it off and on again, so let's turn it on again and see. Because yeah, IntelliJ is clearly having some issues today because it should have renamed that. So we're going to wait for IntelliJ to crunch back into position. Clonk, 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 clonk. Yeah, look at all this. This is very clearly not working as it should be. It may be a case of me reinstalling IntelliJ after this. But that is a future problem for future me. Not we're in the middle of a stream problem for current me. Will it let us? It's not going to let us. Oh, it is going to let us. Okay, we're going to rename this. Okay, it's not going to let us. Okay. Waiting for all the things to finish. I am looking forward to dinner today. I'm having potato and pie. So what else do we need to check? I think that's all good. We've got the immediate things that are wrong fixed. But we just gotta wait for IntelliJ to finish analyzing the project so that we can access stuff like rename or. Tira says future Illiani is the hero we need to fight past Illiani. So this is actually not past Illiani. I am happy to say. This is ancient developers from the bygone days. However, this getter is a really badly named getter, so we're gonna rename that to make sure that nobody else gets called out by this. We're also gonna go ahead and check all the usage to make sure that nobody else has fallen into the trap we just did. Come on. Just give us a little progress thing so we can wait and see. We have just a very large project, and so it takes a couple of moments. Normally you would never see this because this is happening, when I first boot up. So I do apologize. I know waiting for a progress bar to progress is not particularly fun, but such is programming. I've mentioned this before, but not all programming is fun. Sometimes you're just waiting for tests, waiting for feedback, waiting for analyzing project to enable smart features. Lots of waiting. But that gives us a chance to collect ourselves and think, what else do we want to do today? And even if Edge only ends up being the thing that we do today, I do think it's going to be a positive change, so I'm not too worried. However, this week, I can't say when 51.0 is coming out, but I definitely want to finish as much of the requested quality of life features as I can as quickly as I can. Okay, so that's now done. If this doesn't let me rename it, I'm going to be incredibly upset. So I want get edge used this round. This is what I want, IntelliJ. I don't want what you want. Thank you. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and change this as well. I'm going to change this to set. Oh, God. Undo that. Try again. Come on, computer, you can do it. I believe in you. Grumbly, 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 grumbly. This is my grumble voice, because I'm grumbly. Rename. Yeah, no, it's not. It is definitely struggling today. Let's what the reason is it's this class here. So let's close that class. Go away. There we go. Set edge used this round. But this is kind of what I meant to why I desperately need a new computer. Take care, youngster. Enjoy work. I hope it's an easy enough day for you. But this is what I'm talking about when I say I need to get a new computer. Basically, when I'm developing and there are certain classes I can't leave open because it breaks my IDE because I don't have enough memory on my computer, that is a problem. That is a very big problem. And we have quite a few classes like that. But what do we actually even change? It doesn't look like we changed much, which is nice. Yeah, got a couple of uses there. That's all fine. And then we have the uses that we got in here. Okay. That's it does look like we were the first people to properly fall into the trap, which is better than the alternative. However, we do need a get used edge. So public int get used edge. And we can start by get current edge equals get current edge. And there should be a maximum edge. Get edge. Is this correct? It is. Get adjusted edge. Okay, we need to get adjusted edge. There we go. And now we can replace our two uses of this with this and boot MekHQ back up. Radar says, better for you to be the first person to fall into the trap rather than the 50th person to and only be the first to see the trap. This is true. This is true. But I would argue that for anything, it just shows how infrequently people actually go into the edge code, which it is very infrequently. Because that's the kind of thing that would not have passed muster today. Like our code quality checks are significantly more strict than they used to be. Okay, we're just waiting for MekHQ to boot up so we can just double check that. While we're waiting, I'm actually going to close Table Mouse because that's making me chug. There we go, it's finally realized that it's being used. My guess is that anytime we need to get current edge, we are just doing what we're doing in this method here every time, which is not ideal. Or potentially we're just checking get current edge. Meh, it's all fine. Not going to over-egg the pudding. We're just trying to get what we want done. I'm also happy to say that, knock on wood, I haven't had a copyright strike since we moved over to Panda beats instead of what we were using before for music. Okay, so we're back here again. First up, we're going to go and check model per people. Okay, and it's going to tell us off, but it's going to tell us we don't have enough XP, because we don't. Indeed, we don't. Oh no, we broke it again. I could have swore I fixed that. Back into IntelliJ. There we are. No, that's right. So let's go back here. Get formatted text. This is correct. Get hyperlink name. Get actual cost. This is all good. This is all right. We're getting formatted text. So why is it not showing correctly? It's almost like it's using an old version because it's not escaping the apostrophes either. Let's close MekHQ. Maybe I just accidentally left it running earlier. I'm going to reboot MekHQ because I do wonder if I just simply hadn't restarted MekHQ. That's something I've done in the past. While we are waiting, we're just going to go over to Safari because I want to see if a PR I put in has been approved. Edge refresh has not been approved. Grumble, grumble. Because if that had been approved, that'll make my life a lot easier because I wouldn't need to do some extra steps. But that's okay. This one's been approved. We might as well. This is the one we did a couple of seconds ago, in fact. Ciao. Merged. For the power of science, we are one. Nothing else has been approved. So sad. Back into MekHQ we go. And let's load up our campaign. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. I'm looking forward to the Scrotorius Bastards this week. It was I had a lot of fun last week's Scrotorius Bastards episode. And now we finished our first contract. I'm really eager to see where things go from here. Okay. So let's try this one more time. Spend XP. It's going to tell us off because we haven't got any XP. Huh. It's the apostrophe here is breaking it. But that apostrophe should be doubled up, so it should escape. So if I go into IntelliJ, that apostrophe's been doubled up. And go back to, they couldn't spend XP. They couldn't spend XP. Yeah, no, that's correct. That's escaped. The apostrophe before it means it's escaped. Let's see if this issue is reflected on the others as well. Now, this is most likely something very stupid. Sorry, basic and stupid, but I'm not wholly sure what the issue is. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and give them XP. Let's give them 40 XP, so they have enough. And now we're going to ask them to replenish their XP. Their edge, rather. There we go, that's replenished. Is it replenished for both of them? It is. What's our reporting looking like? So this works fine. So something specific about this. Because there's no apostrophes in this. It's breaking on the apostrophe. But the apostrophe should be escaped. That's the whole point of putting in double apostrophes. Okay, well now if I go back into spend XP, it should not let me. Couldn't spend it, and here we are, also missing the apostrophe. Huh. So going back into an IntelliJ. Why aren't you working? Yeah, that's correct. It's getting the values. And I know full well we've got other reports that have apostrophes in them. Why is this not working? Basically, it's not escaping the text properly, but this extra apostrophe escapes the apostrophe. This is all correct. Yeah, no, this is all. Just going through and double checking. Yeah, no, this is all right. We've all got the correct setting, but for some reason it's not escaping the apostrophe. This is very frustrating. So this is the point where we have a look and see what the AI says. See if the AI has any suggestions, because the AI might spot something really obvious that we don't see. But this has always worked before, and it should work now. I also realize that my real name's shown in Claude, so I don't want to show you that. It's going to be something stupid. I just can't see what the issue is. And the problem is I have to find this out because this potentially could be affecting every report that's posted to the daily report. Or every report that has an apostrophe at least. So while the AI is thinking about that, we're going to go back in and we're going to try something else. Let's... is that the escape key? I think this is the escape key. I'm going to try one more time, see if this works. Because I have done this hundreds of times. If I do a search in this code base for double apostrophe, ignoring all the... I'm just doing the same directory, there we go. Now, this is being used over 100 times, and it has always worked before. So something has changed, and it could be a Java version change, but I'm not sure. Let's go here. Oh, let's switch over to MekHQ. Sorry, my brain's clonking away while I'm trying to figure out what's causing this issue. Yeah, see, even use, okay, so I was right, that was the escape key. So even using the escape key, it's swallowing the apostrophe. Claude's not coming up with anything. There seems to be some kind of filtering taking place. This never happened before, so something has changed. Because I'm reasonably confident I've not had to escape single apostrophes in reports before. Oh, this is going to be a real fucking problem. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to convert to get text, and we're going to test. We're going to test it with just get text. Does it happen with just get text? Has something changed with the formatted text? Waiting for MekHQ to boot. Because what we're going to test, is it happening with normal get text? If it is, fine. If it isn't, then we know it's something specific to get formatted text. At that point, we are then going to test the two versions of get formatted text, because you've got get formatted text and get formatted text at. Okay, MekHQ is booted. Okay, so we're going to try with the test clause is specifically when they don't have enough XP. So we're not going to give them any extra XP. We're just going to trigger the failure. Okay, so it is something specific with get formatted text, because here we can see the apostrophe is showing fine. So the apostrophe is not getting swallowed with get with get text, just get formatted text. So now we need to go back in. And we need to test, is it something specific to get formatted text or get formatted text at? Get formatted text just pulls from the generic resource bundle. Get formatted text at uses a specific resource bundle. Boot back into MekHQ. I would personally prefer to not have this bug at all, but if it's a bug specific with get formatted text and not get formatted text at, that at least narrows it down. If it is something that's affecting get formatted text en masse, that is a huge problem and we're going to be in trouble. So, because the amount of times that get formatted text and get formatted text are being used in the code base is significant. So I'm going to load up the save and then I'll switch you over to MekHQ. There we go. I'm wondering if there's some kind of filtering. Okay, spend XP. This should fail, but give us the right text. Oh, I think... Okay, so the apostrophe's there. Okay, that's a start. So we're going to do one final test, and that is just to retest our original premise. Now, our original premise is that get formatted text is broken. That's going to throw a wobbly. Give me a second. I've been doing the wrong one. Gosh darn it. Okay, we can work with this. So this should still be... so that's correct. Okay, so text we know is working. We now need to go to get formatted text at. Let me just try this down here. I'm making mistakes, but my mind is moving at 100 miles an hour trying to figure out what could be potentially wrong with this. I'm also wondering why we've got a public get formatted text there. What are we doing over here? Yeah, this shouldn't be public. That should not be public. There we go. Where are we accessing this? Current location panel. Is current location panel in the same package? No. Okay. We're not. Okay, we're going to move this to current locate blah 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 blah. Give me a second. Okay. Go there. Come back here. And we're taking this out of here. We do not want... These shouldn't be public statics. These should be private statics. Because it's fine creating helpers, but you shouldn't make them public because that means they're accessible to the entire code base. And that is going to lead to people using it when they really, really shouldn't be. What resource bundle are you even using? Okay. That is fine. But we define that at the class level. Now that does exactly the same as what it did previously, but it's not going to be public. It's just going to be private to the area that it's meant to be used. Oh no, I don't want you. There we go. Okay, why we still got errors? Those are fine. There we go. That'll fix that bug. But back to the bug that we are dealing with. So, we're now going to test get formatted text stats. So let's go into MekHQ and make sure that it is. Now, if we are really, really lucky, get formatted text stat will not exhibit this bug. If that happens, we can confirm that the bug exists somewhere in the interface between get formatted text and get formatted text at. If the bug exists in get formatted text at and get formatted text, we are in a much bigger problem. We're in a shit state basically. I am very concerned about all this. Because this is enough for me to say to Hammer to hold back the release. Because this would basically break 95% of the user-facing text in MekHQ. Okay, let's go to load campaign. We're going to go ahead and get them to refresh their edge. And again, this is going to fail. The failure is entirely intentional. The real question is going to be, does the apostrophe remain? If the apostrophe remains, then we have no idea what's going on. Okay. Spend XP, replenish, fails, we go to thing. Yeah. Okay, so something to do with get formatted text is breaking MekHQ's text. Well, bollocks. Okay. I'm going to feed this to the AI. Okay, so the AI is giving me some ideas. One of the things the AI suggested is that if it's getting passed through okay, so message format, get text at. Is get text at also hitting it with message format? It's not. So now we're going to have a look at this. Because if we're double parsing it, that will be the cause. New reports had, okay, that's all good and all. Something really funky is going on here. I can't see why both apostrophes are being swallowed. Okay, let's try a different route. So what we're going to do is we're going to go string return. We can't do return. We'll just call it thingy. Okay, make sure we definitely have our double apostrophes. Oh no, we only have one apostrophe. Okay, let's double apostrophe it. I am completely screwing the pooch here. Okay, so we're looking at UI changes. We're going here. We have double apostrophed. Refresh edge. Failure. Okay. We're actually okay. That's all good. Person get hyperlinked name, and then actual cost. Okay. One last time, we're checking. We definitely have escaped apostrophes. Let's go run and see what happens. Another possibility, because with IntelliJ just being weird today, another possibility is it just could be a really weird caching issue where it cached an old version of GUI properties and never updated it, which would explain why it's suddenly breaking now but hasn't before. Because the first time I did these strings, they had single apostrophes. So if we cached that would stay there. And the fact I haven't received tons and tons of reports that, hey, it's broken, there's something really, really weird going on here. So there we are. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and tell these guys to refresh their XP. Edge even. We're going to get our errors. And it's now working. Okay, okay. So we're going to do a couple of things. It's now working. So what we are going to go ahead and do is escaping it's working as it should. Escaping is what's necessary here. So escaping it. Making sure we've all escaped. There we go. And this is working fine. This is good now. Okay. What we are going to do is we are going to commit implementation. So we are going to commit everything except the current location changes, because we're going to do those in a second. We're going to commit these, and we're then going to invalidate the cache, because the only thing I can think of is that it must be a weird caching thing. Yeah, like Radar says they didn't even think about it being related to the cache. So IntelliJ definitely has a cache validation problem. If you are doing a lot of changes like I do, or if you're jumping between a couple of really big, chunky PRs branches, which is something I also do, the cache semi-frequently just breaks. Considering everything is now working, and previously it was not, that tells me that it's likely to be a cache issue. So I'm now going to go ahead and remember how to invalidate the caches. Invalidate cache. There we go. And we are just going to get rid of everything. Okay. It should reboot. While we're waiting for it to reboot, we're actually going to go over to Safari. Okay, ChatGPT and Claude being as helpful as ever, as in not. But really, in this case, the reason why I wanted to go to the AIs was stuff like this that is just weird. It can be useful to ask the AI because sometimes they might give you things that you just would never have figured out. In this case, they just told me, oh yeah, if you work in an HTML, bruv, you've got to escape your apostrophes, otherwise it's not going to work. I don't know why ChatGPT and Claude are Australian today, but they are. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I know you need to escape your apostrophes. I'll explain what I'm doing and why I'm doing it in a couple of moments. This is a refactor. There we go. Okay, so, and again, when I'm making these changes, I am not criticizing the original author, okay? But this is a really big stylization thing. By naming things public and static, it means it's static means it's going to be accessible without instantiating the class. That's fine. Static's fine. But making it public static, it means that anywhere in the code base, anywhere can reach in and access current locations version of get formatted textstat and get textstat. That will lead to confusion where developers are accidentally calling the wrong version. There is no reason to have this accessible outside of the one place where it's being used. It's fine for it to be a static, but it should not be a public static. So all I've done is moved it into the class where it's used and de-escalated it from being a global static to being a local static. And that means you can access it anywhere in current location panel, anywhere, without needing to instantiate the entire current location. That's fine. But we don't want it being accessed outside of the current location. So I will be raising this with the contributor who did that, just so they're aware of why they shouldn't do it and yada yada. But that's not something I'm about to do on stream, because that is nobody's business but mine and that contributor. I can tell you guys that, hey, this is something that I don't think is a good idea and that we've changed it and here's why, but I will not stream the conversation between me and the contributor. That's not fair. It's not fair and it's not proper. We are back in IntelliJ, and IntelliJ is in the process of doing IntelliJ things. So we're just analyzing the project. It takes a little bit longer to do it because we've reinvalidated all the cache, so the entire thing has to be completely revalidated. But that's okay. Once this has happened, what we're then going to do is we're going to go back into the branch we were just working in, and we're going to test it one more time. Gribbly says, what do you think about allowing Edge for failed ejection rules? Hi Gribbly, welcome to the chat, and I think that's a fantastic idea. Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea. You will need to make an RFE on the MegaMek GitHub, because it is a MegaMek change, so it's not something that I tend to get involved with. But I think having a... Oh, you have an old RFE up for it? Okay. How about you, in the MegaMek channel, just put at Illiani and link me that. I will take a look. Yeah, drop me a link. Hit me with an @ in the MegaMek Discord and drop me a link for that. I will take a look off stream. I am not streaming me fumbling through the MegaMek codebase. Like, nobody needs to see that. It's not pretty. I will be swearing so much that I would get kicked off Twitch. Like, I don't mind doing stuff that I had no idea about off stream. I am not. You are not getting to see me fumble my way through the MegaMek codebase on stream. That's not happening. As shown, me working in MekHQ is bad enough. But let's head back to the branch we're in. But yeah, Gribbly, definitely at me with a link to that RFE, and I can take a look tonight, because I think that's a great idea. You have done fantastic. I have do not disturb, so I don't see the pings until after stream. But no, I can take a look at that tonight. I'll be really interested in having that in place. I think that's a really good idea. I know a lot of people have been saying, oh, can we have it for PSRs? I think PSRs are too generalized. Requests need to be more confined. An ejection check? Yeah, no, definitely we can do that. I would need to check the rules. I have to check the rules to make sure that ejections would be something that would normally be covered under Edge. But so long as it's a piloting based check, which I cannot remember, but as long as it's a piloting based check, then yeah, we can absolutely do that. Can you spend... Okay, I'm just double checking my escaped apostrophes. Okay, everything is escaped. The cache is invalidated. Vacuum breach rolls would be great too. Potentially. Vacuum breach rolls would only fall under Edge if the vacuum breach roll is... I think it needs to be a skill check. Maybe. I don't know. Just leave, Gribbly, just what we need to do is just leave a comment in your RFE, just like in the comment section, and suggest the vacuum breach rolls would be a good idea too. I can take a look. I do need to refamiliarize myself with the rules for Edge, but if it's covered by the official rules, then I can do it. If it's not covered by the official rules, because it concerns MegaMek and not MekHQ, MegaMek has to be rules as written. I can do whatever the hell I want in MekHQ. MegaMek has to be rules as written. No ifs, no buts, no exceptions. But Illiani, what about all these unofficial rules that got added over the years? So those unofficial rules all predate our policy that was enacted a couple of years ago that no more unofficial stuff would be in MegaMek anymore. we have to grandfather in the old stuff because otherwise it's just going to break a whole bunch of stuff and people complain when you take away their toys. But no new unofficial stuff gets added. Okay, so replenish or edge. Couldn't spend. Yeah, okay. And we'll do it on a single. Replenish or edge. It's not allowing us because we haven't got the XP. Good, good, good. Let's give them XP. Let's give them 40 points. Okay, replenish edge. Actually, let's do... Yeah, no, let's go ahead and do it. Replenish or edge. Spend 20 XP. Okay. Yeah. All right. So with that said and done, I believe that this was a cache issue. Problems with the cache are like problems with your RAM. So I learned the hard way. Whenever we do need to go into campaign options just to make sure it's working fine. Whenever figuring out why a computer is just not working weirdly, always check the RAM. Oh, actually, there's one more thing we need to do. I just realized we're using get formatted text at. Is the other one using? Okay, yeah, no. The other's using get formatted text. It was working fine. Are there any apostrophes in get success? No. Okay, let's do one last check just to... We're gonna do one last check just to make sure it's good. Just for the sake of my peace of mind. But coming back to what I was talking about. So whenever you have problems with your computer, always check your RAM first, because when RAM starts breaking, it affects your computer in the weirdest way possible. Like, it can affect just the most random stuff that you would never, ever, ever think, oh, that's to do with RAM. And so every time, if your computer's going a bit weird, just check your RAM. Just run a RAM checker, just make sure your RAM's good, because, yeah, you don't want to have an expensive repair when it turned out all you needed to do was reseat your RAM. And I've learned that the hard way. Cache is kind of the same. If things are just going weird, check the cache, invalidate the cache, rebuild it, because chances are it could be just something stale in cache or something that's got a bit confused. Radar says this is why it's good to reboot your computer. It's amazing how many slowdown issues you can fix by just restarting your machine. So that's actually more of a Windows issue than it is a Mac issue, and especially not really a Linux issue. Windows is really, really bad at cleaning up after itself. That's not actually what I want. I want load campaign. Yeah, Windows is really, really bad at cleaning up after itself, whereas that's not really an issue on Mac. It is. I don't believe it is. Like, yes, it can fix some things. Oh, I think Radar's agreeing with me that Windows is really bad. Yeah, no, Windows is really bad. Sorry, I thought you for a sec you were saying it was a problem on Mac. Yeah, comparing, like, yes, it can help Mac, but it is nowhere nearly as bad as Windows. Like, you should reboot your computer from time to time, but Mac, like, if I leave my computer on for weeks at a time, it's completely fine. But if I was on a Windows machine, it'd catch fire by this point. Okay, so we know one's working. We're now gonna go. Okay, let me just start again. I'm jumping ahead of myself. We're gonna test. This is gonna fail. It's gonna fail, but it's gonna have apostrophes. Okay. Okay. It is a problem with get formatted text. That does not exist for get formatted text at. It is not a cache issue. Okay. All right. Because this was working and this works. We know this works fine. This isn't working. So let's have a look at get formatted text. Here's the issue. So what's happening here is it's formatting the text, and then, if I come into here, it's formatting the text again. We're running through it twice. Okay, I can fix this. So what we're going to do is we are just going to remove this extra get formatted text. And all we're going to do is, where it gets formatted text, one Sekaruni. Yeah, this is the issue. This needs to be get text, not get formatted text. No, because that's going to pass it into that as well. Is it going to do that? Yeah, see? Okay, so I'm going to break it down. Let me jump back out of here. Get formatted text. What it did is it passed into get formatted text at. The problem is this formats the text. We go into here and it gets formatted again. And that's what's causing the issue. Technically, if we put 3 apostrophes, it would work. But because we only put 2, which is only escaping at once, it doesn't work. Okay, I'm just checking. Get text stats, good. I wonder if we can just do this even easier. Yeah, no, I was right. That just doing this is the right way. Okay. Radar says double formatting explains why it's losing that apostrophe. Yeah, so let's say if I put 3 apostrophes, 1, 2, 3, it would have worked. And this has actually been a bug that's been in since like the middle of last year. All right, okay, that's we're gonna reboot and see if it works. Well, don't we like just finding a bug? You know, this is one of the fun things, like when you're developing, sometimes you'll notice that a whole bunch of PRs appear at basically the same time in the GitHub queue. You'll see it on MegaMek. And the reason for that is we basically, sometimes when we're developing stuff, we can just find completely unrelated bugs, unrelated problems. And that is exactly what's happened here. However, it has been a very long time since I invalidated the cache, so I don't feel like anything was wasted, and we got to the end of this. I am, however, going to be verifying in a second that we don't have any more landmines like this. But yeah, so basically all that happened is Luana, one of the old devs, just basically put get formatted text at when it should have been get text at. That's literally all it is. Okay, so round 356. Select everybody, and it should tell us no. There we go, and it's working. Next up, we give him XP. I'm gonna give him 40. He only costs 20. I'm deliberately giving him 40 because I want the next test after this to pass. So replenish your edge. Spent 28. There we go. And the next up, we are going to attempt to do it again. And this time it's going to tell us that we can't. There we go. Perfect. It is working. Hurrah! Hurrah! And we fixed a really annoying bug. Whee! Okie dokie. So we'll push us elsewhere. We do need to come back and tidy up because we did some. We did some. We named a variable thingy. I think that says it all, really. So let's just get rid of thingy. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to do one more thing. So we'd have a look at our things here. So spent. So we are going to add some additional values. So hyperlinked, and then we want I think it's reporting utilities. Is it just open span? I need to remember how we access this. Span opening with custom color. There we go. There she blows. Keep saying that. There we go. What am I doing? It's just adding a splash of color. Apparently, I have forgotten what this is. These are just close span. It's been renamed. So it has. Okie dokie. It wasn't called tag when I was last here. Because I am. Okay, so now what's going to happen is we are going to go back in here and we're going to bold it a little bit. So, bold. And I'm going to do it down here as well. And here. So what this means is that now the text is going to be bolded and colored. Bold gets the player's attention and color improves it. Exactly, radar. Okay, success, we want positive. Refresh failure. Why is it failing? It is failing because I don't have enough XP. That means we want to get negative. Get negative. And if it's, one sec, negative color. And if it is just a case that they just don't have any edge to restore, we're just going to go ahead and warning. Color. There we go. So let's build ourselves back up and make sure that's all working. I will be getting some water once we've done this. That last half an hour or so was was stressful, but I'm glad we got to the end of it. And it's always nice to fix a long-standing bug that we just weren't aware of. And if you're listening along while we wait for MekHQ to boot back up, and you haven't already, please consider hitting that follow button so you can get notified when we go live. We do this 5 times a week, technically 4 times, but 4 live development streams. The Friday is the one we actually play some games. Okay. I've also been thinking that I might do a short old school RuneScape stream one day a week. Just a couple hours just to hang out. Sort of like a low stress stream. Mine some copper ore and just chill. Is that something you guys would be interested in, or are you only here for the mechs? Okay, so first, let us fail. Okay. That means we haven't properly escaped it. Whoopsie-doodles. Puffsider says RuneScape sounds fun. Okay. Let's go to GUI properties. Oh, here's the issue. It should be free. Pathfinder says, MegaMek is great, obviously, but you getting a bit of a break sounds like a good way to balance stuff. Yeah, no, I mean, it's something I'm thinking about, but at the same time, I understand, like, if people aren't interested in watching me play old school RuneScape of all things, then there is absolutely zero point in me doing it. Let's wait for MekHQ to boot back up, and we're up. Load. Now let's see, is this all working? Are we escaping our escapes now? I hope so. It could also be that we're using the wrong escape key. That is also possible. So let's see. Boop. There we go. Okay, so that's that. Then we're going to go ahead and give them XP. So this is going to succeed. And we only need to give them... 40 XP is good. Give them 40 XP. And then we're going to go ahead and spend it. There we go. That's good. And lastly, we're going to go ahead and attempt to do it now. But it's going to fail because they've already got their maximum edge. Huh. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think the last one looks quite right. We're just going to jump into IntelliJ and see what's wonky there. That doesn't look quite right. So let's jump back. Oh, here we are. We just got them switched around. There we go. I'm not going to bother testing that because that's now going to work. The issue was we had hyperlink name in the wrong place. Whoops-a-doodles. That happens. Oh, hi, Mr. Bandit. Hi. You want to say hello to the people? No, you just want to go to your bed? Okie dokie. I haven't got cat cam set up yet because I simply don't have the USB ports for it. Until I move to my new computer, I have to have a hard drive connected to my computer, and that takes up a USB slot. And so that would be the slot that would go for cat cam. But you can just imagine Bandit. You can use the Bandit emote if you want to show Bandit your support. Available as of today. But mostly he just wants to hang out, I think. Okay, so we've gone ahead and done everything that we need to do. We're now going to push this change, and we're going to go to, we're going to wait for that to push. Did you push? It's analyzing code. I don't need you to analyze the code. I need you to push the code. But yeah, we're going to push the code. We're going to pass it forwards, and then that will be done. Now, this is going to conflict with a change that I made earlier today. That's okay, though. It happens. We don't mind. In fact, we can go into pull requests and maybe, just maybe, it's been approved and last time I was here. It has not. Okay, that's fine. Let's go to Safari. Oop. This is personnel. There we go. Okay, so last but definitely not least, we are going to go into IntelliJ. Boop. And we are going to go and push our reporting bug. Just checking we're in the right branch. Let's push. There we go. Nice and easy. And we're heading over to Safari to push it, or rather, actually post it. Let's wait for it to finish pushing. Just do the old refresh, doodle-doodle-doo. Thank you. There we go. What a kerfuffle. I think this is a utility, and this is going to be marked as hi. Hi. We're gonna elevate this up to critical. This has to get merged. I'm not faffing around. This is a long-standing bug. I'm surprised it hasn't got picked up before. But yeah, no, this has to be merged. So we're gonna mark this as a critical bug. I don't like using critical. I tend to use high and save critical for only the most important stuff. But I feel in this particular instance, this is a critical bug. Yeah. How this hasn't been found before, I have no idea. And you might say, well, it hasn't been found before, so it can't be that critical. The thing is, it's likely just that players didn't know that it was a bug, honestly. That's all fine. Okay, I am going to step away for a couple of moments to recharge after that, because that was a lot. We still have just over an hour left on stream, so we'll find something else fun to do. So I'll be back soon. And I'm back. Sorry that was a little bit longer than normal. I needed to recharge. Okay, so before we jump into the next thing, I wanted to just talk about something that I meant to talk about at the beginning of the stream, but I thought it'd be nice to talk about it now. So I think most of you are probably from North America or regions, but in the UK, at Easter time, we get chocolate eggs. And if I switch over to Safari, I can show you an example of these delicious delights, these chocolate eggs. And these are like fist-size eggs. They're not like egg size, they're like fist size. And they're made out of hollow chocolate. And I currently live in North America. I used to live in the UK. I was born there. And every year I was saying to my wife, oh, we should get some British Easter eggs, because I love British Easter eggs. Like, they're one of my favorite things as a kid. I think they're great. And every year we forgot, or well, this year we didn't forget. We just realized it was obscenely expensive. Like, these Easter eggs, like, to give you an example, these ones. This particular brand, Smarties Easter egg, is like £2 in the UK. Maybe a little bit more because of inflation, might be up to £5 now, but it is not a lot of money. Over here, they were wanting something like $25, maybe even more. So I was like, oh, I guess I won't ever have real Easter eggs again. Woe is me. But this year, like my wife came back from where she's working right now, and apparently they have like a really fancy chocolate place. And the chocolate place sells real Easter eggs. And so my wife bought me a real Easter egg when she visited this weekend. And it was like modeled up as a chocolate dinosaur egg. And they had some kind of like oil slick effect on the chocolate to make it look all dinosaur eggy. And inside were little tiny chocolate dinosaurs. And it was so sweet. I love my egg so much. I would say that it makes me not want to eat it, but I have already smashed that bugger open. That bugger is getting consumed. But yeah, no, it was really, really nice. And it was the first chocolate egg I've had since I moved over here. And I just wanted to share that with you guys, because it really made me happy. And then, especially when we're dealing with hard stuff, it's worth remembering the things that make us happy. And that made me happy, so I wanted to share it. But I do think that's basically that. We still have an hour left. Bear with me a moment. I want to have a look at something. I am taking a look-ski. Bring us over to Discord. Make sure I'm in a channel that's not hidden. Okay, I'm trying to see what else we have left to do in the spit and polish. Improved scrap location workflow. That is probably going to be tomorrow's job, which means we have to go back into the parts menu, which if any of you were here last week, I want to say, will be very well aware of why I don't want to go back into the parts menu. Okay, this is something this is UI work. I don't really want to have to deal with that right now. This is something I need to know what the decision was. Because I called Psycho Monkey in as a second opinion on this particular request, so I need to know what the decision was. Expose more contract terms and make them user editable. That's going to be a massive pain in the ass, honestly, but that can wait. Give military liaisons ranks. How about we give military liaisons ranks? Let's do that. That seems like a relatively simple thing. We can do that. Yeah. Let's go ahead and do that. That's like a fun little change, because right now their rank just appears as a hyphen, which isn't what we're looking for. So, I've recently added some tools that will actually make this a lot easier, and that's the reason why this hadn't been done yet. Oh, my IntelliJ's having a moment. Spinning beach ball of death. Ooh, it's dying. And it would be nice to have military liaisons have ranks. Tomorrow is definitely going to be a hell march. I'm going to restart IntelliJ. Fuck it. I am really not looking forward to tomorrow. With us trying to work. So what's been requested is if you get a unit that has a broken shoulder or hip, you have to strip the entire location, replace the limb, and then put everything back. The putting everything back part is not something we can really do much with, but the request is that we streamline the part where we are scrapping it. So you can click yes, I want to scrap everything, and MekHQ will scrap everything. Scrap/remove. Basically strip the location for you rather than you needing to do it manually. But that's going to require interacting with mass repair, mass salvage, and it's going to require UI work, and it's to do with parts, and it's to do with the repair tab. It is going to be rough. I am not looking forward to that tomorrow, but it has to be done. This is like one of the biggest quality of life requests in the Spit and Polish project. I've been putting it off. We're going to do it tomorrow. Whether we're going to be successful remains to be seen, but we're at least going to attempt it. But we're going to go to project because I am going to see if I can find what I'm looking for, which is, I'm hoping it's going to be something as simple as, like, basically I can't remember where I put a tool, and I'm hoping I just put it in ranks because ranks would be easy. Because for some reason, I can never find the bloody company generator. Every time I find it, I don't immediately forget where it is. That's the personnel generator. Can't give me ranks. Okay. Fleischman says, Fluffy will be so happy for that. We lose a lot of hips and shoulders. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Auto assign rank for company generator. We can use something in here, I think. But yeah, it's definitely a much needed change. The thing is, if it was an easy change, it would already be done. It is not going to be nice. I am not looking forward to doing it. But it really, we really need to improve the quality of life there. Okay, I'm just rereading through the stuff here. Okay, we are going to give them a commander rank. No, it needs to be higher than commander rank. Okay, let's go to ATB contact, which is where the liaisons work. And let's see what rank we're attempting to give them an ATB contract. That's going to be our immediate step. Okay, liaison. Okay, get the employee liaison. Is that just going to return? Yeah, okay. So, create employee liaison. We are... Okay, we are attempting to give them the minimum officer rank. So... what we will do is scroll down. There should be one assigning normal ranks. Is it highest rank at or below? Okay, so we actually want to reverse this. So okay, our start index is going to be what we input. And we're going to check to see if it is the maximum, above maximum rank. To do that, I need to go into MekHQ to remind myself what the maximum rank index is. Just waiting for good old MekHQ to clunk away. While we're waiting on that, let's try and neaten this up a little bit. So, start index, set rank. If has no rank, while rank index is no, it's not what we want. Tira says liaison should probably be at least 0, officer 1, max officer 8, and ideally your commander +1. We're going to work with what we can get, basically. I need you guys to understand we do not have enough to have a lot of tools here. The rank system that is currently in place is not flexible. That we can do what I'm about to do at all is a pure hack. We are literally, I'll walk you through the code. As soon as we have a max. We don't even have a max, god damn it. Give me a second, I'm working on something. I'm trying to see, do we have officer max? Okay. So, and actually we might be able to, yes, we can get rid of minimum rank index, and we can actually replace that with an existing enum, which is nice. Give me your errors. Come on, IntelliJ. Thank you. Oh, I think possibly my keyboard might have run out of batteries. Oh no, it hasn't. IntelliJ is just no longer accepting keyboard input. That's nice. Oh, is it woken back up? Yeah, there we go. Okay. So, just need to import this. Okay. Hi, Psychotic. Okay, so we're going to input a rank index, which is going to be our target. Then, if we're going to assign the person to the rank index, if that rank index does not correspond to a rank, we're then going to start increasing the rank index by 1 until we find a rank. And we're just going to go from there, basically. If we don't find any rank, person has no rank. That's just a matter of that. That is the best we can do. Oh, Psychotic, you've actually hit a 7-stream streak. Welcome. Let's get Claude to document this, and then we can integrate it. Because when it goes through liaison, we have to remember that liaisons are not necessarily the person in charge of Allied Command. They are just whoever is your liaison. They are your liaison between Allied Command and you. So they don't necessarily need to be higher rank than you, because the assumption is that whoever is their boss is higher rank than you. Okay, just checking that's all good. Okay, so now we go back to ATB contract, which is where liaisons are generated. Radar says the other person assigned to talk between you and their boss. It could be the general secretary or some poor sap who's really good at talking good. Yeah, basically. We assume they're an officer because we're going to assume they're probably an aide-de-camp. Basically, general's assistant. So we're going to assume they're probably an aide-de-camp, and we will work under that assumption. There you go. Okay, so this is private static. We actually want this to be a public static. We don't care about what we're actually returning. Shoo shoo. Nope. Okay, so okay, it's the rank system. Yeah, we're setting the rank system. Okay, so at this point they have their rank system. We now need to auto assign company generator. We only have one public. We have multiple public? No, okay, yeah, only one. It's going to be employee liaison. And we are going to start them off at rank officer min. So they are going to be whatever the lowest rank of officer is in their military. There we go, and that will give them a valid rank. We do have a clan component as well that we need to have a look into. So it looks like we're aiming for rank 38 for clan. So rather than using a static target clan rank, I think this is star kernel. So rather than using the static, we're going to just pass in the same thing. And this is also going to ensure that the clan component gets a valid rank. And we can test this very, very easily. We're going to go ahead, start a new campaign, pick a contract, and the liaison should have a rank. And the good thing is we can use this code elsewhere. So we can take a look at that. But right now I'm just going to leave it for liaisons because I really just do not want to faff around with ranks too much. I after the reporting bug, I am very much done for today. So I'm gonna continue on until it's time. But yeah, no, that bug was annoying. And one of the things I'm trying to do since I've now come back to the project is make sure that I am not pushing myself too hard. If I'm having a bit, if it starts to feel like I'm really struggling with a day, I'm trying to step away. So let's it's new campaign. Right, okay. So there's a reason why we need to do new campaign and we can't use the new player quick start, because the employer liaison or clan contact is it is determined when the contract is initialized. So If I were to use new player quick start, which already has a contract initialized, that will use the no ranked liaison. Whereas this is going to ensure that we're actually using the system. So what we can't even do is we can't load into this and then click advanced state and reuse that save. Every time we want to test this, if it doesn't work, we're going to have to create a brand new campaign. Otherwise, the contracts won't be valid. So let's go ahead and generate ourselves a company, just so we have something. Fantastic news, go away. Enjoy your awards, go away. So here, I would prefer to give them perhaps a blood name or a rank, but it's fine. It's fine. Okay, let's go to contract market. Got anything? We're not gonna have anything clan based. Okay, let's go for the Lyrian Commonwealth. Update, that's great. Lieutenant, there we go. They now have a rank. Perfect. All right, so that's all grand. Just get out of my way. Go away. Go away. Go away. Don't care. And now we're going to start a brand new campaign, and we're going to test it for clans as well. Now, this does mean that your liaison for the clans is potentially going to have a rank, but not a blood name. And to me, that also makes sense, because if they had a blood name, they wouldn't be Joe, Star, General, Steve, Blood Pants. They wouldn't be there just Dog's Buddy. I clicked the wrong one. Buggery-doo. I'll need to redo this again, because I'm so used to just using the default of Mercenary, I didn't do Clan. So we'll wait for this to load. Blah, blah, blah. But yeah, like I asked earlier, but what do you guys think about me streaming other stuff occasionally? Like, is that something you guys would be interested in? I think I got a response from Pathstrider, I think it was. But I am interested in like what do you guys think? Like, is that something that would be interesting to you guys? Is it something that's not interesting to you guys? Because if I do it and it's not interesting, it's a bit of a waste of everybody's time. Okay, new campaign, and this time we're going to remember to set ourselves up as the clans. What clan will be determined, probably Jade Falcon, because I think that's the first on the list. We're Hell's Horses today. There we go. Radar says, is it bad my brain automatically adds Kristen Redmond to the end of a sentence whenever I hear Star Colonel? Oh man, I love the BattleTech cartoon. Okay, so if we go to contract market, and we'll go to this one. Whatever. Star Colonel Wilbert. There we go. A strong name, Wilbert. Okay, so that's working. Okay. So that's that dealt with. So, we should probably do the same for accolades. So let's go ahead and give a rank to the random smucks that talk to you through the accolade system. So we're going to want to go to dialogues. My brain has just completely shut down. Okay, there we go. GUI. We don't want to be in MekHQ anymore. Go away, MekHQ. We're going to go into dialogues, and we are looking for faction standing. Faction judgment seems good. Accolade sensor. What are we doing here? Speaker gets senior administrator. Okay, that's ours. Oh, that's a confirmation dialogue. Okay, that's not what we're looking for. Judgment dialogue. Okay, so we're going to need to bring up all the instances where we're calling this, and it only looks like 5, so that's not too bad. Check for new mercenary organization. Okay. Speaker. Okay, that should have a rank system assigned. But in case it isn't, we are going to go ahead and make one. I don't want to reformat the code. Just do as you're told. I am so done. I am so done with this computer. Okay, we're gonna test the assumption that they already have a rank system as determined by their short name. No, they won't. They won't. Maybe I did this earlier. Get rank. Okay, I did. Can I return null? Doesn't look like it. Okay. So speaker. Set rank system. Oh, we have to go through some extra steps. Okay, we can go through extra steps. That's fine. Oh, King Mole's turned up. Hi, King Mole. And they're currently on a 10 stream streak. And yes, there's a new emote. Let's band it. So I want to validate the rank system, and then what comes next? Okay. Let me set the rank. Okay. And we need the rank validator as well. Okie dokie. Seems excessive, but fine. Okay. Next things next. Auto assign rank for company generator. Radar says, in regards to you stripping other things, I think it'd be for it depends on the game, honestly. Old School RuneScape would be a good chill stream, especially during your post-release when you're taking time off. This is actually what I'm thinking, because the last thing I want to do is just, when I take my post-release 2 weeks off, I don't want to suddenly vanish. That would be a bad call. So I kind of want to find something I can do on my off weeks that isn't just, yeah. Let's go for a public static void assign rank system from action. Seeing as we're doing this a lot, let's go ahead and get faction. because we're definitely going to be doing this a lot. So rather than going through every step every time, let us just do this. And we're going to want to do this for the clan as well. We're going to want to back. That's fine. We're going to leave this, actually. We're not going to fuck around with this because I don't want to have to override the rank system. Oh, god damn it, I do. That's fine. No, we'll just... Yeah, we're just going to leave it like this. We're going to leave clan alone, and we're just going to focus on the areas where this is actually useful. Speaking of which, here. There we go. And that just makes it significantly easier. It just says just no Minecraft. I cannot stand Minecraft. I am not gonna lie. If you want Minecraft, I am not the person. Oh, I need to be careful because sometimes speaker will be null. This is not among them. Okay, that's a very fair thing. So we'll do it here instead. Can you be null? You can be null. Okay. So if speaker doesn't equal null. Because otherwise we're going to be in a situation where we pass a null into this and it's just going to fucking break. No, I didn't want it added twice. Okay. And we will wrap this in here. So we're not checking it twice. We're not Santa. There we go. And why have you broken? I think it's just taking a bit to clonk into place because that doesn't look broken to me. I think that's right. I am definitely having some computer issues today. Action accolade event. Did I accidentally break something? Oh, there it is. There's the mistake. Okay, I did break something. We need an else. There we go. As soon as it loads. Because another reason why I'm suggesting old school RuneScape is I know my computer will run it. I can definitely run old school RuneScape. We'll come back to that. Oh, time to restart IntelliJ for like the 4th time this stream. I have no idea what the problem is. It may be that there was an update and it's just a bad update or something, but IntelliJ is not playing kind to me today. Yeah, an IDE error occurred. Okay, so that was an actual IntelliJ just fucking bricking. There we go. Okay, so that's that fixed. No, actually, I do want that. Here's the mistake. I needed to close it there instead. There we go. I do, however, want to scroll back up because I was specifically looking for faction judgment news articles, not what we're looking for. Faction judgment dialogue, that's what we want. We're specifically looking for all the uses of faction accolade dialogue. I hope you're all having a better day than I am. We're just gonna do this the old-fashioned way. Okay, we've already done that. Any more? Okay, here's one. Okay, where is speaker being defined? There, and it doesn't look like we have a null speaker. That's nice. Okay, I think we've got them all. We'll let the analyzing run its thing, and then we will have a look. Yeah, I don't mind dealing with bugs. I don't mind dealing with hard bugs. But when the very IDE, the thing that I need to interface with the code, is not playing nicely, that gets frustrating very quickly. Okay, so we need to import that. Okay. So, faction accolade judgment is what we're looking for. We want to make sure we caught all uses of this to make sure we are giving giving speakers ranks. We are. Speaker, we are. Speaker, we are. Speaker, we are, but we need to import. And finally, speaker, we are. Okay, so that's that all taken care of. We'll grab this quick, might use again in a second. Okay, what about news articles is something different? Judgment scenes are something different. So that looks like that's going rogue. Okay, that's that. We don't need to worry about that. Okay, this should be everybody. We can test it by going to MekHQ. And when we start our brand new campaign, and now this one at least, we don't need to worry about it being a new campaign. We're just going to do a new campaign anyway, but we don't need to. And we're just going to verify that when we get our little welcome to the team dialogue, it's got a rank. Now, I think when I do take my breaks from MekHQ, like after 51.0's release, I will definitely still be doing the Scrotorious Bastards, because like that's a lot of fun. I think we all enjoy that. But yeah, then well, it's to be determined what exactly is done between, because like I have to take time off from development. If I don't take at least 2 weeks off, I'm effectively working a full-time job, sometimes 12 plus hours a day without a break. That's just going to lead to burnout. And that doesn't benefit anybody, least of all my mental health. But yeah, coming back to Radar's comment about no Minecraft, I don't have the blue hair and screechy voice to properly stream Minecraft. I just don't have it in me. Radar says mental health comes first. Exactly. Speaking of mental health, I think today I am gonna, after I've had my dinner, I think I'm gonna basically just play Subnautica, the original, or some Final Fantasy 14. I am definitely done. Okay, is it working? Don't care, go away. Don't care, go away. Still don't care, go away. Star Commander, there we go. Perfect. Go away. Okay, so that's a nice little thing we've done. Weissman says they're playing Conan while listening. Ooh. If there is not a chance in hell my computer will run Conan Unchained, but shame, because that can be fun. Tira says they're permanently trapped in a hyper-focus loop where they burn out on the one interest and then bounce to the next. I'm not gonna lie, that did used to be me prior to discovering MekHQ and the I say discovering, but prior to joining the MegaMek team. Priceman's this maybe with a new one? So the computer I will be getting is not a gaming machine. It will be another Mac Mini because I'm incredibly impressed with what the Mac Mini can do, but it's not a gaming machine because I don't really use this computer for gaming. This computer is my work computer. Maybe the new one could run it. Maybe we can find out. We can piss ass around and see what works and what doesn't work. But I'm not a huge survival crafty fan, but there's no denying that survival crafty stuff is incredibly like, it can be incredibly peaceful to stream. Oh, Radar says my comment about Korean barbecue earlier gave them a craving for some. Talking to their boyfriend about taking some of our friends to a local restaurant here. Yeah, I wholeheartedly love. Oh, Tiris, you have just re-unlocked an old hyperfocus. So Tiris is suggestive. I was looking for something that runs easily. The original Guild Wars Reforged got a bunch of support and it's a pretty easygoing RPG MMO thing. So that's gonna, the question there is gonna come down to whether the Reforged runs on Mac, because original recipe Guild Wars does not. We've just gone ahead and done this. Let's find out. Let's find out together. Guild Wars Reforged on Mac? Question mark? Let's have a look at the website. It's available on the Apple Store. That suggests maybe. Guild Wars Reforged, okay, maybe. Give me the platforms. I don't care about... Bugger off. Let's have a look. Because I actually do have a Guild Wars 1 account. What I'm trying to work out is what platforms is it even available on? This is not helpful. If anybody knows if Guild Wars 1 Reforged is available on Mac, please let me know. Because I would absolutely play this on Mac. Since then, MacBook Pro. Okay, no. So yeah, it does run. It looks like it's running on Mac. Oh ho ho. Now, whether it runs on my current Mac is, I can tell you right now, it is not going to run on my current Mac. But new Mac potentially. And I really enjoyed Guild Wars. I hyper focused on the Guild Wars 2 for a while, but Guild Wars 1 of the two I definitely preferred. Okay, we are reaching a point where there really isn't anything more. Like, we don't have time to do anything else at this point, so let's just chill. King Mel says, if you're a long-time Mac user and a fan of some of the old Ambrosius SW games, Ares is playable by open source clone Antares, and Endless Sky is an excellent game of the escape velocity. Ooh. Yeah, everywhere I'm finding Radar is just not helpful. Like, there is no just Guild Wars 2, is it on Mac? Tira says Guild Wars Wiki has a page for running the game on pointers for Mac. Yeah, I know I can get it on running on Mac because I've done it before, but it was a massive ball ache. The question, what I would like to see is for Guild Wars Reforged to natively run on Mac, so I don't have to do a wrapper. The Guild Wars could be a lot of fun, and I think we could all have some fun with Guild Wars. Whereas I do think. I do think old school RuneScape will entertain only one person, and that person is me. I am not remotely entertaining on old school RuneScape because all I do is just walk back and forth from the bank to the mine. All I do in old school RuneScape is smithing and mining. Weissman said they've never seen Guild Wars. Okay, this is getting the cogs moving, and thanks to you guys' generosity with subscribing, I can probably justify Guild Wars Reforged purchase. Guild Wars Reforged, Guilds Reforged, not quite. Guild Wars Reforged on Mac. There are multiple question marks. Okay, looks like I do have to run it through a wrapper. I'd have to use parallels. Okay. So it looks like I might be able to get it to run. And if I can... No, I don't want to play Guild Wars 2. Okay, so it looks like there are options. I will look into those options because I genuinely love the original Guild Wars and we could play through the main campaigns and just enjoy ourselves. I would need to get it running. I would need to unlock my original account because I guarantee you that shit's locked at this point. But yeah, no, I could definitely. I could do Guild Wars. Yeah, okay, you guys have got me thinking now. There's new stuff in pre-searing. Ooh, okay. Okay, so leave this to me. I will take a look into it, and if and we'll see. I will take a look into this and see what I can do, but this may well be what we stream while I take my couple of weeks off. I know it won't be for everybody. I know you guys are here to watch me do mech related stuff, but I do need to take times off sometimes, begrudgingly. See if it's on the App Store. You're not going to see what I'm looking at now because I'm going to the App Store. Not okay. So designed for iPad, not verified for macOS. So yeah, okay. So it looks like there's a Mac, an iPad version, but not an OS version. Okay. Okay. Okay, it's also not out on iPad yet either. Okay, so let's get 51.0 out of the door, and then we can take a look. And if you guys are interested, I will try and get Reforged working, and then we'll see what happens. Reforged got like a bunch of mobile support, so that tracks. Okay. All right, let's put a pin in this for now. But I think that's a really interesting idea. Let's head over to the ending soon screen, because yeah, I'm done for today. after that reporting bug, I am so done for today. I can't believe nobody found that before. This is like what happened last week when we found the one instance in all of the 106 different types of parts that didn't have the null safety. Okie dokie. But yeah, so I'm going to step away. I might spend some time looking at Guild Wars. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, I know it's a bit of a week ending, but I'm very tired. Psychatic says, I did have a question. I can answer that question real quick. Do I know which nightly file to download? Nightly, you just want the latest. I will warn you, Psychatic. This is very important to anybody who wants to go on a nightly. The nightlies are our test environments. Back up everything. Don't just use the one save file. Don't use the one save file. Okay, let me finish responding to your first question, Psychatic, and then I can respond to your second point. But yeah, don't use the same save file. Don't just back everything up. The nightlies are in test environment. We frequently break saves on the nightlies. They are not designed for general play. They are a testing environment. So while I fully encourage people to test out the nightlies to see if there's anything broken, don't think you can just use the nightlies as a way to get access to features that haven't been released yet. your save might not break now, but at some point in almost every dev cycle, we break saves. So yeah, if you are just wanting general play, just wait for 51.0. It is very, very close. I can't tell you when, but it is very, very close. It is not worth moving to the nightly. As for there being two versions, one will be Java 21, the other will be Java 25. You basically just use whichever Java version you have, which should be 21. But yeah, no, nightlies are not designed for general use. The current nightly is good, yes, but that is no guarantee that tomorrow's will be. But yeah, we are so close to release. It is not worth going on to the nightly. Okay, but on that disclaimer out of the way, I am going to run away. I'm going to make myself some dinner. I'm going to have pie and potatoes and green beans tonight. And it's going to be very nice. Yum, 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 yum. So until then, good night. I am so hungry. Oh, what pie? I'm having chicken pie.